The past continuous passive. The past continuous passive is used to describe actions that were happening at a specific time in the past and were being done to the subject, rather than the subject doing the action. Structure. Subject plus was slash were plus being plus past participle. Object becomes the subject. Example. Active versus passive. Active, they were painting the house. Passive, the house was being painted. Here's a breakdown of the past continuous passive in different forms: positive, negative, and question, along with examples. 1. Affirmative, positive structure, subject plus was slash were plus being plus past participle. Examples. The car was being washed. The documents were being prepared. Dinner was being served at 7 p.m. 2. Negative structure, subject plus was slash were plus not plus being plus past participle. Examples. The car was not being washed. The emails weren't being sent properly. The house wasn't being cleaned yesterday. 3. Interrogative. Structure, was slash were plus subject plus being plus past participle. Examples. Was the report being written? Were the cakes being decorated when you arrived? Was the room being cleaned? More positive examples. The bridge was being repaired all summer. The floors were being polished when we entered the building. A new law was being discussed in Parliament last week. The homework was being completed by the students. The flowers were being watered by the gardener. Important data was being collected during the experiment. The documents were being signed by the manager. The walls were being painted a bright yellow color. A movie was being filmed in that neighborhood. Her dress was being altered by the tailor. Negative sentences. The cake was not being baked at that time. The reports weren't being reviewed carefully. The lights were not being fixed when we arrived. The documents weren't being printed yesterday. The students were not being supervised properly. The car was not being repaired at the garage. The windows weren't being cleaned during the inspection. The orders were not being processed quickly enough. The animals were not being fed in the morning. The song was not being played on the radio. Questions. Was the book being read by the teacher? Were the invitations being sent yesterday? Was the project being discussed in the meeting? Were the cars being washed when you arrived? Was dinner being cooked at 6 p.m.? Were the files being transferred to the server? Was the room being decorated for the party? Were the children being watched by a babysitter? Was the machine being repaired at that time? Were the clothes being ironed this morning?